Boatworks today is sponsored by Total Boat and Alexial Yacht Coatings, as well as supported by the generosity from the beautiful folks over on Patreon. Thank you so much. So, welcome back to the shop, everybody. Hope you're all having an awesome weekend. My name is Andy with Boatworks today. Now, if you caught last week's video, you saw that I was trying to do a demo. Using a tie coat between two dissimilar coatings. Well, that ended up just being an absolute train wreck, just a total failure. So then at that point, because it didn't work, and I know that it's supposed to, my brain switched over and trying to figure out, well, what the hell was going on here? And when I closed out last week, I thought for sure that I knew what the issue was. Well, evidently, nope. Now, when you're trying to troubleshoot issues with composites, there are a lot of variables that can come into play, but more oftentimes than not, it's usually something that's just very, very simple, usually just staring you right in the face. Now, going through the comments from last week, I would say probably the number one guess that people were saying, on how I screwed this up, was that I forgot to catalyze the gel coat. And no, I'm not sure why, but for some reason that part just got edited out. But I catalyzed it at 1.5%, which is, you should catalyze between 1 and 2%, for when you're working with polyester resins. And it's set up in the cup, just fine. I mean, the gel coat did what it was supposed to do. Now, because it didn't set up on the panel here, that told me that there was still some sort of a chemical reaction going on between the tie coat or the barrier coat and the gel coat itself. So after doing a little bit more digging around online and actually reading through the details for the barrier coat, or what I used as the tie coat, I was absolutely positive that all it was going to be needed was a little bit more cure time for this material. Now, when you're looking through their application guide, they were very, very specific, that this material needed to be fully cured before it could be top coated. And depending on temperatures, that could be anywhere upwards of 4 or 5, maybe even 6 days, again, depending on your temps. So I gave it its time to let it do its thing, and came back, cleaned it, gave it another light sanding, top coated, just another little test sample of the gel coat, fully anticipating this to work, but nope. And that's been 3-4 days already. So now at this point, I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? I mean, there's no reason this shouldn't be working. Everything was catalyzed at the correct ratio. The gel coat was done at 1.5%. The barrier coat or the tie coat was done at the 3-to-1 ratio as you're supposed to do, and it had well over a week to fully cure. So there's no reason, none of those variables are coming into play here. So now at that point, the only thing that I could maybe think of as a possibility was the actual age of the product itself, or the barrier coat. Now epoxies in general, because like I mentioned, there's a bunch of different types of epoxies, but generally speaking, epoxies are shelf stable for several years, at least 2 to 3. Some are almost indefinite. But now polyester resins, about a year. Vinyl ester, about half of that. So I walked over, grabbed the can, and down at the very bottom in teeny tiny little letters was a manufacturing date of 2016. 6 years old. I mean, I am no genius, but I'm pretty sure that might be the problem. So I have fresh material on the way now. I imagine it'll be here at some point over the next week or so. But I think I'm going to circle back to this at a later date. I'll probably end up doing as a little shorts here on YouTube or Instagram or something like that. But I'm not going to do another whole-blown video on that. But I am going to follow up with this just to show everybody that it does actually work if you're not using 6-year-old material. But for now, our weather is changing and our temperatures are dropping. And one of the heavily requested topics that I've been getting, it happens every fall, is to go over some tips for trying to do this repair work, whether it's you're working with resins or gel coats, paints, whatever it may happen to be, working with those types of material in cooler temperatures. So that's what I'm going to be covering for next week. Now, before I sign off here, I just want to give a quick little mention. As you may have noticed, the nature of the videos that I've been doing here for the last few weeks has changed. And if you're not already aware, the reason for that change is because I am somewhat of a gimp right now. I don't know if that's an offensive term or not, but I'm talking about myself and it makes me laugh. So the reason all of this is happening is both of my shoulders are shot, and until I can figure out what's going on and specifically how bad that they really are, which is a whole other story I'm not going to bore you with, But until I get that sorted out, I need to be very, very careful on how much I exert myself here because I don't want to do any more damage. So for the time being, it is what it is. I'm trying to make the best of it, but you know, it is what it is. I'm limited on what I can do. Now with that out of the way, mystery solved, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you in advance. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, please leave those down below. I will do my best to follow up with you. And as always, I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.
This has been a Boatworks Today Protection.